Hey everybody, Joe Casabona here from Podcast Liftoff, and one of the most time-consuming things that people who edit their own podcast do is try to remove filler words. Filler words like like, you know, and repeated words, and things that they think make them sound worse, when in actuality, that might not be the case. Still, today I'm going to show you how to easily remove filler words using Descript, and then I'll tell you why you shouldn't always do that. But before we get into that, I do need to ask you to subscribe to this channel. My mission with Podcast Liftoff is to help podcasters create more content easily and make money doing it. And each video I put out on a weekly basis will help you do that. Today, it's going to be how to edit faster, more efficiently, and improve your process with the time you get back. For that, you can spend it promoting your show, maybe getting a sponsor or two. If you really like what I'm doing, you can sign up for the Build Something Club over at buildsomething.club. For just $50 a year, you'll get access to ad-free extended episodes of my podcast, How I Built It, so you can see how I'm running my membership. You also get loads of bonus content, live streams, videos, and other extras as part of a community of builders and creators. So that's over at buildsomething.club. That's $50 a year. That's less than $5 a month. So definitely check it out if you're interested in that. Okay, let's get on to the tutorial. So first, I will show you over here on Descript. You can go to descript.com. I will have an affiliate link in the description for this video below. That will not increase your price. It will just give me a small commission on anybody who signs up for a paid plan. Now, the plan that includes the filler words is the $24 a month plan. So if you are really interested in improving the editing process, maybe you hire somebody to remove filler words and do the edits, and you're looking for something a lot easier. $24 a month should be a no-brainer, right? Because first of all, you get 30 hours of transcripts. You get overdub, which I'll show in a different video. And then you get to create audiograms and remove those filler words. If you're doing that manually, that's probably taking you hours to do. So I am a part of the Pro plan. I am a big fan of it, and I use Descript just about every day. So just right off the bat, this is a Pro feature. You can start for free and trial some things, but if you are really interested in this, I would strongly recommend the plan. Okay, so on the screen here, you will see I have an older episode of my podcast. It's a solo episode for me, so I'm not working with other speakers in this one. It's not a super long transcript, but you can see that the filler words, or the seemingly filler words, are underlined, right? So I don't know why this one's underlined. Because it's a repeat word here, right? So repeat words and filler words are underlined here. So if I want to remove those words, I'm going to go ahead and right click on one and click remove filler words. It's then going to highlight all of the filler words here. It's mostly some you knows, and then I can remove them. I can replace with a gap clip if I want, which is basically, it'll keep the amount of time between the other words, but it'll just be kind of dead air. And so I'm just going to click apply. And so let's listen to some of this with the filler word, something club. And I wanted to give my thoughts on this. So this is the audio. All right, and then if we go here, Apple-podcasts. But before we get into that, I do want to tell you about the Build Something Club. This launched a few... All right, so we can hear what it sounds like with the filler words. I'll click Apply to All. And you could see all of the filler words have been removed, including hey up here. So, hey everybody, Joe Casabona here. That one doesn't make any sense. And then we are left with these little markers to show where the filler words have been removed. So build something club. And I wanted to give my thoughts on this. So this is the audio dash podcasts. But before we get in, so that one sounded pretty good months ago now, and it's going pretty. That one sounded a little rushed, right? Months ago now. And of course, if you hey, this Joe guy has some pretty good takes on some stuff. If you want all of, so you can hear that there are points where it sounds a little bit rushed, right? If we go up here, apps looks like no. Apple owns the customer relationship there, though. So that one sounded good because it was kind of between two thoughts. So maybe users will be able to take their membership outside of. And that sounded pretty good. If you have any questions, that one sounded rushed. I'll do a follow-up video on that. That one, it didn't really even get it right. A follow-up. So it still hit that double word. I'll certainly have other takes and tutorials like how to manage multiple memberships and how to actually set up a subscription and app. So some of it sounds a little bit unnatural, and it's easy, it's done, right? It took the click of basically a couple of buttons for me to have to go and comb through. If I want to replace it or put it back, I can't really do that though. So, I can either add a gap clip or I can use this overdub feature. But it's once it's done, it's done. So if you want to actually comb through, you might still have to find those filler words. I should also point out here that you can remove selected filler words. So if I suppose, right, like that's probably not one that I would want to replace or remove or something, so this is pretty good. It's got, I think it removed hey, which I thought was super weird. I don't see that here. So this is totally up to your discretion. So that's how to do it. But let me tell you why I don't think you should do it. And this is something that I tell my students all the time. When you're talking in real life and you're not giving like a canned speech, and sometimes when you are, but when you're talking in real life and you're having a real conversation, you're going to have those words, right? You're going to have filler words like and ah and and the more that you podcast, the more that you speak publicly, the less that you'll say them when you're making these full points. But especially if you're doing an interview show, those words are inevitable. And so I think that just blanket removing all of them is more of a distraction that's going to make the conversation sound unnatural. And that is a bigger detriment to your podcast than saying what you think is too many times. The other thing I'll say here is that nobody is a harsher critic than you, right? So you are listening back to your own episode. Maybe you don't like the sound of your voice or how you worded that, or that you say 4 times in 30 seconds. But most people who are listening aren't listening to point out all of the flaws in your voice, right? So I think, yes, definitely work on saying those filler words less, but don't spend so much time combing through your episode and removing all of the filler words, because those filler words add personality. They add some realism to the conversation, right? When you watch movies and everything's said flawlessly, it's because it's a movie that's done in multiple takes. When you watch a speech on, maybe a presidential speech or a keynote speaker at an event, they're probably reading off of a teleprompter, a speech that they have rehearsed multiple times, a good speaker at least. But podcast conversations tend to be more casual. So I think this is something. I don't think people should edit their own podcasts either for that same reason. I think you're going to spend too much time nitpicking your own things that you view as your own flaws versus somebody else who's just going to look for the actual bad parts. But if you are going to edit your own podcast, I don't think you need to remove every filler word. And again, with Descript makes it really easy to edit your podcast because it does the transcription. So you can search for those filler words and maybe strategically remove some of them and just copy or highlight and remove text to edit. So I think Descript is a great editing tool. I think that you can use it to remove some filler words if you want. But my main takeaway, my main piece of advice here is don't kill yourself over removing all of the filler words, because some of them are natural gaps in thoughts, and removing them will make you sound less natural, not more natural. So that's it for this episode. This episode? I thought I was giving a podcast. I thought I was doing a podcast. Maybe I should edit that part out. So that's it for this video. If you liked it, please subscribe to this channel for more like it. I'm going to be doing a whole series on Descript if you're interested in using it to edit your podcast. If you really like what I'm doing, head on over to buildsomething.club and sign up for just $50 a year. One of the office hours I'm planning for members, some of the bonus content, is going to be a behind the scenes look at how, when I do edit my own episodes, how I'm using Descript. So you have these tutorials to do specific things, but if you want to see how I'm using it in a production setting, become a member of the Build Something Club. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, get out there and build something.